Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to McBoss Capital live stream, where we talk about what's happening to the market and the growth stocks that are moving. My name is Michael Chu, and everything set on this uh, channel is just for information purpose only. Okay, you can see that I have all the ETFs here. For QQQ is down almost 4%. It's off the lows. SPY is down 3.5%. Dow is down 2.9%, and IWM is 4.4%. Again, another brutal day right now. Um, the big news today, let me go to it right now, is yeah, China tariff. China retaliate with its own tariff. Um, let's see here what's happening here. Yeah, so China announced 34% on all goods from America. Oil fell to pandemic lows here. Um, so again, not sure if this is true, but Trump, say he's open to negotiations. Not sure if this is true. So there's a high chance of a U.S. recession. That's why the market has been dropping. Um, yeah. Let's see what other news there is. So Nasdaq now is in bear market territory. So basically, it has dropped below 20% from the high. So here's Nasdaq. So the high here is about 2200, right? We are below 16,000, 5,900. So we use a calculator just to see. So you have 2200 minus 15900 divide by 2200. Oops. So yeah, 21%. So so at this current level, we are about 21% uh, from the top, right? So we have come a long way. We start going down in December 18. Um, that was a Fed Federal Reserve Day. By the way, we have a Federal Powell speaking at 9:25 um, Mountain Time, which is 11:25 Eastern Time. So that's coming up in like 20 minutes. So we'll see what they're gonna say, what he's gonna say. That could either bring the market lower or maybe it could rebound from here. So you can see it's off the lows now. Um, so the market wants probably the Fed to cut now, and they have to reassure investors that they're gonna cut. If they don't, and they don't see any issue with having to cut, then obviously market not gonna like that, um, and probably market will go down lower. Now we are, like I said, we are, market really have been correcting since December for some of the tech stocks especially. Um, but for other stocks, they've been correcting since like February, around mid-February. So this date was, yeah, February 19. So we have, again, depending, some stocks might be in the third wave down, but for most stocks it's probably in the second leg down, which kind of help forms the W-shaped double bottom type of base. But like I say, some stocks are much further down. So you know when looking at the past, for example, like 22, we have three legs down, I believe. So let me take out my markup for a second. So there's the first one that starts in January of 2022. Then we have another one that starts in April, then we have another one that starts in August. So three legs down, right? And this is over a long period of time, right? Um, and that's how we got that. I believe, yeah, 20% correction, maybe more for Nasdaq. For Nasdaq, more. So you can see here the highs are again close to 5900 here, and the lowest here is 10. Yeah, pretty low. The low here is 10,088. So or almost 10,000. So yeah, so that's a big correction. That was more bigger, but you know, and that's how long it took. Anyhow, coming back to today, um, this looks very different, right? We have this pullback here for tech stocks. Then we have a more severe one here. Then we have another one. So you can see the slope is much steeper each time, which to me does qualify more like a third wave down, because usually the third wave down is the most is the one that correct the most usually, and that's when everyone start to give up. Um, the question is time. Is there enough time for people to react? Like I'm not sure. So the other one, anyhow, yeah, I'll probably talk more about this on the weekend. But 1987 was the crash, right? And that certainly could happen because very similar, like, but so you have this leg down, but that one didn't even form a, like, I mean, the second leg down was really harsh, right? So when you look at the current comparison, we actually have this kind of more sideways pattern, and then we have a slight drop, then we bounce, then we have this current leg right now, whereas this just went straight down, and then it went down more, like it tried to test this low here. And then if you go out like another 6 months in here, you see it basically tests that low once more. That could be um, the third leg here, and then it start to recover um, slowly on Nasdaq, right? Anyhow, so yeah, so let's go to today's action. Let's go to daily chart here first. Reset the time frame here. So yeah, so again we have this leg down and now we have this leg down. It can definitely go a lot further if you know more retaliation is gonna happen, and if Fed Powell this morning, depending on what he says, could really um if they're really stuck on doing nothing, I think the market won't be happy. Um, yeah, because right now things are getting escalated, right? Countries are retaliating, and there are going to be more countries announcing that. So China is the first one to announce, but I think many countries will start to retaliate. China is really the big one, um, because it's a strong, it's a very powerful economy. So you could also argue that, oh, maybe after this China news, maybe things will get better. Well, fundamentally, how can it get better, right? With so much tariff in place, like there's no more trade happening. Things are going to start to stop moving. You're already hearing lots of production starting to stop, and also like things are not even going to go across the borders anymore. So I think it's only going to get worse. So that's my own thinking. Um, and this hasn't happened in this scale in the past, at least in modern day history. So I think a lot of people don't know how to react to this, and businesses don't even know how to react to this and what they need to do. And we're seeing stocks getting hammered so crazy. Like RH is probably the biggest one. I mean, Okay, so right now this one did bounce back. Interesting. Okay, so because this morning it was down, yesterday it was down 40%, and this morning it was down, I think at least 10% or more. But this one has bounced back. Now there's gonna be a lot of bottom fishing because when stocks drop this fast, there's always a technical bounce. Whether it can continue to bounce depends really on, the headlines, right? If things, if yes, maybe it's oversold and over time it will recover, right? Like it could just go like this and then eventually it will recover. But I'm not. For me, I'm not that kind of trader. I don't trade for speculation. Um, at least not in any big amount. So but yeah, that's definitely some bottom fishing today is gonna happen. Again, I think I rather wait till what the Fed gonna say. If they come out and say like say they don't really want to make any move, and thinks that the economy is strong enough to hold this, and that's what some of the Fed members have been saying. Like I think two of them mentioned that yesterday. But Powell's voice is probably the biggest, right? Because his influence is big on the community. So if he comes out and say, yeah, the economy is doing fine, job numbers were really strong this morning. That was another thing, right? Um, Let me see if it mentioned anything here. So this is the big huge problem. I think a lot of companies are going to start slashing spending because due to this uncertainty, right? So that's probably going to bring the economy down. So again, this is not going to happen in a week or 2 weeks. This is going to happen over the next quarter. And we're going to get earnings news coming out soon. So many companies are going to revise their forecast down. And some of them probably don't even know what the impact is yet. And that's the problem. Like this is just the beginning, in my opinion. Like we don't know how this is gonna end. Um, so like I said, there's two stage, right? One is okay, we finally got the announcement on Wednesday. What are the tariffs for all the countries? So we got that. So now at least that is clear. But now the uncertainty, there's two uncertainty in this next stage. One is how are business gonna react to that, right? So that's the business side. Well, the other side that probably even more challenging is that what are countries going to do, right? And so again, they're going to retaliate. And so that's, to me, it's almost like there's three stages now, if you think about it. You have US imposing the tariffs, and then now you have countries retaliating, and then finally you have the business just kind of like, what can I do? Well, just like what it says here. They're gonna start slashing spending. They're gonna do everything. There's lots of uncertainty. No, they're not gonna hire people. There's no expansion. Things gonna slow down drastically. And yes, maybe the market will bottom before all these numbers even show up. I don't know. But I highly doubt it. I think the numbers will start to get worse. And at some point when the numbers, start to look pretty bleak, that's when the market will bottom. But everyone else, most people participant in the market would think that hey, things are gonna get a lot more worse, so they're not gonna buy into the market. So that's when fear comes in. So when fear comes in, that's when people really start to get out and uh, won't even buy when things are cheap, right? Because there's so much fear. When there's no fear, that's when you know market participants especially in the retail were like, oh, I'm gonna buy it. Even they think it's cheap right now, and yes, and this is the hard lesson I learned in 2022 is that when things start, let's say a stock falls from 100 to 50, well, that's a 50% drop. That's a huge dent on your portfolio, and then you go and buy at 50 and then it dropped to 25. Well, when you think about it, oh yeah, 100 to 25, yeah, 75%, right? you know but when you think about it, when you buy at 50 and it drops to 25, it's actually a 50% drop again in your portfolio. So that's the numbers thing, and you just have to understand the math. So you may think it's cheap, but it may get even cheaper. And 100 to 50 is 50%, but 50 to 25, if you buy at 50 and it drops to 25, that's also another 50% loss. So that's what I've learned over time, that you got to understand the numbers. Um, Of course, it could work. Maybe you buying at 50 is the low, right? And you could double your money when it comes back up. So, um, yeah, and if anyone is still thinking that Trump may be you know, holding back or not, he's gonna reverse his decision, I highly doubt it. Look at what he's saying this morning. He said it's already working. The job numbers are so strong. Um, he's going all in as far as I can tell. I don't think, if anyone still doubt his decision, I really highly doubt it. I don't. He's going all in with this move here. And even with all this retaliation, I really don't believe he will back down unless the country retaliating is gonna, you know, go into concession with them and try to figure out something, that could work both way. And that will happen maybe, right? Like as things get worse, they might do that. That's when Trump might say, okay, you give me something, I'll give you something back, right? Like kind of thing, right? But the point is that he's not gonna make the first move, at least not in that sense. Um, yeah. So recession risk is very high now. We have to see what Powell will say. If he thinks that too. If not, then like I said, I think the market will drop even more. And I don't know, like we're gonna see a 1987 style crash. It's very hard for that to happen nowadays, especially with circuit breakers. But we can definitely hit the 7%. Um, so every and then the other thing that's gonna happen is all this inflation is gonna go back up. So that's why we'll see what Fed Powell is gonna say because yeah, it's kind of a hard thing to deal with right now because you have possibly inflation coming back and then the economy is not doing well and you can't really cut rates because of inflation. So that's why stagflation is a high probability, but also like even long-term recession is a high probability, right? And you see like tweets like, "Hey, Trump's plan suggests he's crashing the stock market on purpose," and that's what happening. Oil price has come down a lot. If you go to look at oil price, like it has come down a lot. USO, everything is coming down. Um, so look at how much oil price has dropped in 2 days. Another 6% today. That's amazing. Like yesterday 7%, today 6%. Of course, yesterday OPEC also announced a production increase. Um, so lots of issues. Again, nothing is clear yet, but the Fed meeting will be very important. It's supposed to come out on online probably anytime soon now, 9:25. So stocks on the move. There's barely any stocks on the move. We go here. Okay, there's a little bit more now. It was a little bit less this morning, like one, and then it increased to four, and then now. So RL. Let me go to my spreadsheet here. Yeah, please leave your comment if you're watching this, any questions you have, so I can try to answer them over the weekend videos here. So RL is one that has good earnings. I'm not sure if they got hit or not. Let's just take a look here. Rough Lauren. So yeah, earnings pretty strong. Like sales is okay, single digit, not very strong, but stable. Um, 12 billion market cap, $200 stock. So this stock, yeah, I mean it's down today 5%. Oh no, it was down 5% on the week. So we did have the hit yesterday. I mean everything went down yesterday, but today it reversed. So it was down this morning and it reversed. So that's very positive. So upside reversal is very important in the market bottom. Market tend to do upside reversals when they bottom. So on a day like today, this is very positive because it's so early in the morning too that it already reversing this fast. So that usually could also mean that the selling exhausted, right? Like there's no more sellers. Look at this. Look at it doesn't want to come down. Look at that. Oh, it did have this one bar, but the volume also dissipate. So then the volume start to come in and you can see the effect of the how fast it pushed the price up. So this is a good potential. Again, there's no like no one knows where the bottom is, so that's the big risk. Okay, so make sure you understand the risk. Um, but if I was gonna do a quick trade, this would be a good one. You know, and this is holding up, pretty good compared to many stocks. Of course, I said it dropped yesterday and then this morning it dropped, but it's recovering already. So that's quite impressive. So probably this one has less impact due to tariff. I'm not sure if that's the reason, but it could be because not many retail stocks are holding up well, especially in discretionary stuff. So this one is doing pretty good. Yeah. So okay, so that's that one. So yeah, it's still hitting new highs here. Looks pretty good. Um, New high as in compared to yesterday. Okay, not new high as in actually new high was just a month ago. So that's that one. And let's see what else there is. GameStop. So GameStop has some news this morning. I think either the company or investor bought more shares. Let me take a quick look here. Yeah, very low earnings, so guidance here. So it's this company like it's positive now. That's one thing that has changed. It's less like so it's actually profitable, which is interesting. And they also recently announced they will trade Bitcoins, right? So this is holding really tight for this stock, which is interesting. It did drop yesterday, but it rebound again. It's still under the 10-day though, right? So that's the problem with a lot of these stocks is they're under the 10-day. If I go back to RL, um, yeah, so this is still under the 10-day. So what happens is that a lot of stocks has fallen so fast, they're gonna come back to the 10-day if they're gonna bounce back. And the question is, what happens when they come to the 10-day? So yeah, so that's probably like yeah, I should change that to normal trend because it's I don't usually buy stocks under the 10-day. But on a day like today, if we see an upside reversal and let's say the Powell meeting, yeah, I keep turning back because my TV is right there. So he's speaking right now. Um, uh, so he's saying the tariff inflation impact could only be temporary. So maybe that's not good news. I don't know. Let me go to see market reactions. Yeah, it looks like it's dropping again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But if at the end he can, if he could change his decision at some point, that if he even say that, that might help the market. But again, it's too early to tell right now. But upside reversal day is a good day. Um, and because there's some room to move right now to the 10-day, like I said, you could go in for a quick trade. That's one possibility. But coming back to GameStop, yeah, it's still below the 10-day, but it's coming up. But this one, yeah, GameStop is holding up pretty good. Yeah, they just have lower earnings for me, so I'm not going to trade that. Let me just put that here, GME. Oh, okay. TPR, that's another apparel. TPR. I'm just trying to see what he says here. So incoming data shows solid growth, labor market imbalance. So like in terms of labor market is still good. So his tapestry also bouncing back. All this apparel clothing, some of them are bouncing back. So also with the weekly here, the single digit earnings probably lower for me. So TPR. Okay. Next stop here. Vertex. Vortex. Yeah, so this one, so this is more probably more defensive. Some of the large cap health stocks are probably a little bit more defensive in nature. Um, so they're holding up better than other stocks, but it's not part of my growth stock list because it's just a little bit too low earnings. Um, Next one, WMK. WMK. So yeah, this is very interesting that the Fed has a meeting today. WMK waste market retail. So this is probably another defensive stock. Yeah. So it's bouncing pretty good. So it looks pretty good. WMK. I'm not sure what the earnings are right now. Uh, I have to check this later. Um, Calm. That's another. That's eggs, right? Calm is eggs. So a lot of defensive stocks too. That's where some money is going to. That's also not a good sign. When you see money moving to defensive. But this one had lower earnings, so probably not earnings. So Calm here. And then the last stock on here is Sky Champion Home. Okay, where I think this, let me see here. Building manufacturing of single multi-section homes. So this one. Uh, so yeah, this one has corrected also lower earnings guidance. Has bounced back a little bit. So yeah, it's still below the 10-day. So yeah, nothing seems to be working right now, at least not in the growth side. Um, let me just finish recording this. For home, this is building mobile. Anyhow. Okay, so if you look at one last thing I'll look at is like the mega caps have been destroyed, right? Like Apple was down 6% today. This morning was down 6%. It's recovered a little bit. So right now, Fed Powell just said too soon to say what the appropriate path of policy will be. So this is, not good, because basically again they're indecisive what they're gonna do. Um, but look at so some of this, like if you look at this Mag 7 stocks here, some of them might be near a low. I'm not 100% sure, but at least it's not dropping as much. So Amazon, let's go look at Amazon. Apple is dropping a lot, right? Because the Chinese and US tariffs can hurt them really bad. Now this one's a huge rebound right here, Amazon. Apple, look at the 2-day drop, huge drop here, right? Then you have Meta also drop and Microsoft. Microsoft and Google is holding up better slightly. So that's interesting. Um, so you look at Microsoft, it's dropping, but it's not dropping like the other guys are, like gap downs and stuff. I mean, like Google, yesterday it gap down here, Google. Today recover a bit. Meta, look at this drop here. So it is trying to recover a little bit too here. Netflix, and even Netflix is getting hammered now. So I'll come to Netflix in a second. Nvidia, look at Nvidia. It's really not much of a bounce yet. And then same thing with Tesla. I think Nvidia and Tesla are really a good growth representation of the market. When these two stocks don't do well, the general growth market don't do well. So, but Tesla, surprisingly is holding up stronger than most stocks. But today it did fall 0.9%. So, but that's probably because of the, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how much tariff impact Tesla. Um, and then okay, I'm gonna jump to Netflix. Um, um, yeah, this one is starting to hit the lows here. It's gonna test. It's gonna test it. Spotify, both of these are subscription stocks. A lot of analysts talk about these two stocks because they're subscription based. They won't be as impact as much. Um, I don't know, like, but right now it's definitely starting to test the lows, both of this. Let's go look at some high beta growth stock app. So this one hit new low today, went 200 day. But we'll see what happened at 200 day here. No bounce so far. Palantir, same thing, hitting new low. So even Palantir is hitting new low, but this one is still far above 200 day. Now I'm not sure how much more Palantir, like if governments, because they have a lot of government books, so I don't know if any of those are going to be pulled back. If they are pulled back, it's probably going to impact them the most. What other stocks are there? So those are the high beta ones, and then lots of AI related stock like VRT, uh, the, you know this is the power equipment stuff. Look at the strong downtrend right now. CLS, they're starting to give up. Right, so this is all below 200 day now. Uh, GEV, this one again hitting new lows. So a lot of stocks hitting new lows, sliding below the 200 day. This is not good. So let me go back to SPY here. We'll finish off with this. So again, we undercut here. We undercut this level. Now looks like we undercut 510. Did we undercut 510? 510.05. Yes, we did by like a few pennies. So then that's where it bounced. So we hit this low here, and then we bounce back, and now we're starting to slide since Powell starts talking. Yeah, basically he's saying, yeah, people are unhappy with the economy because of the increase in price level. So inflation can come, economy gonna slow down. That's why the market is in bear territory now, like for Nasdaq at least. Um, so I think there's still a way to go. Like this process is gonna take a while. It's not a quick process to resolve all these issues. Um, so I would be cautious. Yes, it looks very tempting to buy at this level. But if you did that yesterday and you say, hey, it's gonna bounce back today, look at what happened today, right? And you do the same thing today. You're gonna buy today and you think that's gonna bounce back Monday. I don't know what will happen. I think actually over the weekend we will see more macro news come out. Like maybe more countries will announce strong retaliation, and that could bring the market to another big down day on Monday. So anyhow, have a good weekend. Again, please like and subscribe, and I'll try to do the videos each week, and we'll see if anything changed by the end of the day. Have a good day. Bye bye, everyone.